Okay, so I'm going to take you over what reverse spine angle looks like, and what I'm going to do, or how I'm going to construct this, is I'm just going to show you in my backswing what it looks like, and then I'm going to repeat that process over on the right with the spine. I'll show you that from a couple different angles, and then I'll show you the follow-through, what that looks like both in myself and on the spine level, and then I'll talk about this later so this video isn't all stuttery and takes forever, because I know nobody wants to stare at a spine as long as I want to talk about it. So here we go. We're going to go up in the top of my backswing, and if you want to identify a reverse spine angle, you draw a box around the head, box around the hips, connect the middles of the two boxes, and you will see that right to left, top to bottom line, as opposed to what it should be, which is left to right, and we'll go over that in the future here. So what this is going to look like at the spinal level is you're going to get some extension and some left side bending, and that's what that looks like. Pretty exciting, right? But what you'll notice is basically the closure onto that facet joint right there, which is perfectly fine. That's what it's meant to do. It's meant to move around a little bit. And then really quickly, a side view of what extension and left side bending would look like is going to be right here. So that's what the top of your swing is going to look like. And then with the follow through, you're coming through like that. And I just want to point out that now we have, whoops, and with the follow through, now I just want to point out that right around here at that spinal segment, it's going to be in line with this. If you were basically looking on the other side of me from behind, you would see that we're going to have a little bit of flexion and right side bending, which is the polar opposite of the backswing, and that looks like this on the spinal level. Let me just get the circles out of the way here. Okay, and then really quickly, one of the things I wanted to mention on the spinal level is just to show you that we're going from left side bending and extension to right side bending and flexion. So that's happening essentially at that speed. Okay, so that's pretty quick. And what's happening if we focus on that facet joint right there is what's happening is we're going to have that joint kind of slam into itself. And it's going to look like this when it slams into itself. It's going to be away, and then boom, it's going to come down into itself. Everybody see that? Just boom. And that's where we get a lot of our arthritis, a lot of our degeneration on that spinal segment, a lot of irritation is where some of our inflammatory issues come up, and we really start to lock up in that low back, and that can lead to a cascade of other problems that we'll talk about here in a minute. Okay, so in speaking about reverse spine angle, really quickly, I'm going to take you through a before and after of myself. Now, before, I tried to do this as cold as possible, early in the morning, no warm-up whatsoever. You can tell I'm a little bit out of breath because I just did this video. So the before is going to be over on your right, the after is going to be on your left, and all I did in between was go through a core workout that I'm going to show to you guys, but understand that it did play to my deficits. So things that I'm not good at, I made sure I went and corrected that before I went into this. I may not be the exact same as you. As a matter of fact, I probably am not. So take this with a grain of salt, but this is a really good before and after of how I fixed the reverse spine angle on myself. So what a reverse spine angle is, really quickly, is if you draw a line at the top of my stance, if you draw a box around my hips and around my head, and then connect the middle of those boxes, you'll see a reverse spine angle. I just did a little bit of a mark over there off to the right just so you could see. You'll see the reverse of what you should present with. So the line should go left to right if you're going top to bottom. But instead what you'll notice is mine actually goes right to left, top to bottom. So then we move over here to the left, and we go to the top of my backswing. This is post-workout, and already you can see that if we go ahead and draw these boxes again, hips and, whoops, let's try that again, hips and head, and then draw a line connecting the middle of those two, you will see that I go left to right if you're looking top to bottom. And that's exactly what you want. And then just so I can be clear here, one important thing to note is that I am still rotating on that back right leg. So I'll put a circle. I'm still rotating here. And if you look at the right picture, I'm actually extended a little bit as opposed to rotating. And that definitely plays into it. So in other words, I'm not swaying over to my right. I'm actually rotating. And I don't sway in either of these pictures, so it's not a swing fault that I have. But a lot of people will try to fix this by leaning further onto their right foot and then switching and leaning onto their left foot. And that's not how you want to fix the swing fault. All I did was a simple tuning of my core and hips to get myself going, and we'll talk about what exactly I did here in the future. But this is the reverse spine angle, and that's how I fixed it in myself.